And we are live. Hello, everyone. Happy New Year! Yay! We have made it to 2023. And I am just so excited because we've got so much to do. And when it comes to kitchens, oh my goodness, when it comes to kitchens, there is always something to be done and something that we can tweak and make special. So, Happy New Year to all of you, and let's get started with the things that we're going to be doing better, more improved in the new year. Now, I'm going to take a look, going to do some changing here, and I'm going to do a little talking. As we look at the year, there are some things to consider, and I'm going to take this off because, okay, we've done Happy New Year, and that part's gone. And I need the glasses because I need to be able to see. So we're going to talk about some things that are in our kitchen, things that we all need to do. Hello, hello. And we're going to take a look at all of that. I am so glad that all of you are here today, and what a blessing. Now, let me first say that I took a little time off just to be with family and to enjoy and to have a nice time. I had some surprises along the way, pleasant surprises that I'll be sharing with you later. And I am just really thrilled to be back here at the lunch table. This is a precious place. And so I thought about the new year, and I started with myself, and I am making an assumption. I am making the assumption that you probably have things that you'd like to do a little bit better in your kitchen and in managing all the things that go on for those of us who are home cooks. And so I started at the door and literally walked myself into the kitchen and took a really good look to see what needs to be done. And no matter who it is, no matter what it is, there's always something that we can do better. So we're going to be looking at some of those things, those New Year kitchen tips that we want to start immediately if we can. And I want you to feel free to give me lots and lots of suggestions along the way. And I'm going to show you a few things that I think may be helpful, have helped me. Some things I've added, some things are new, and some things are old. So we're going to work through all of that. So let's get to it. First of all, I don't know if you paid attention, if you've noticed, but I'm also working a few shorts. And so I'm trying to do a series that's not just for us, the family, but is for everyone to look at some of the winning tips for our kitchen. We want that winning kitchen. And being a winner doesn't mean that it's an extra special kitchen, but it means it's winning because it makes us feel good every time we step into our kitchen. And that's a good thing. When I took a look at my kitchen, I had to think about the fact, what is it I can do so that when I come into the kitchen, I have lots that I want to do. And my kitchen is set in such a way that I can do it pleasantly. And so that's where we are. I want you to be able to come into your kitchen, to want to cook, to want to do whatever it is, and to not feel overwhelmed, because when you walk into that kitchen, you don't want it to be a hot mess, if at all possible. So we're going to talk about that. One of the things that I find very important to me is to, first of all, when you walk into a kitchen, and I took it from the perspective of someone who had never been in this kitchen, and I looked totally around the kitchen. The first thing is that whether it's you coming into the kitchen or someone else, you want a clean counter as much as possible. When you have a clean counter, now that doesn't mean, or shall I say, a decluttered counter. Because when you first walk into your kitchen, it may be that you haven't had a chance to actually go around and wipe and sanitize all the counter. But to walk into your kitchen and it's decluttered, it's pretty clear, then those are going to be the things that you want to see. And it just invites you in. It invites you in. It says, come, do whatever you need to do here in the kitchen, because I've already got a good start. So that's what we're going to try to work through. So we're going to start with a decluttered kitchen. And you want to be able to look at that kitchen and say, wow, you know, I have a nice decluttered kitchen. It looks clean and I can work in here. Now, one of the things that I find that works for me is to be able to get into that kitchen, and I'm hunting for a particular picture here. Okay, I want to add this. When I come into my kitchen, I want the counter decluttered, and I want to be able to see a nice, clean, shiny sink. And you know, as much as we talk about these sinks and we talk about keeping it shiny, now, do we need to polish every night before we go to bed? Certainly, you may want to give it an official polish at least every other day or two, just to kind of keep some, certain types of greasy grimes off your sink. Or use some type of cleaner. Now, what I typically do is that I keep a spray bottle. And let me get that, because I really intended to have it right here and I didn't pick it up. This is my spray bottle that I use, to be honest with you, all throughout the day. And what I do with this has antibacterial dish cleaner that's in it, mixed with water. So I pretty much filled it up with water and then put in so many drops of dishwashing liquid, because I want this to be able to clean, but I also want it to be sprayable. And the nice thing about this is the fact I can use it on my counter without worrying about, destroying the quality of your counter. You can use it on any counter. I even use this occasionally. I have glass top kitchen table. I use it on my glass top kitchen table. Spray. Get a towel, a paper towel, clean it, and then dry it with your microfiber towel. And it keeps those tables nice and clean. This also, because it's an antibacterial, it helps to keep those germs away, which are always important. But most of all, this is my defense for the sink. I will come through every few hours, give it a good spray, wipe it down, and I know it's clean. Because when you're getting ready to cook, or you're getting ready, even if it's just preparing some peanut butter and jelly, you need a clean place. And you want it clean. It doesn't matter what it is you're preparing, you want a nice clean place. Now, the second thing is very, very important. I thought about this because the day, and I can share this with you, we're family. The day I walked into the kitchen, I had not taken the trash out yet. And as soon as I opened up the trash bin, la pew, it was full. I had to get the bag. I had to tie it up because something had gotten dropped in there the night before. And by morning, it didn't smell very good. Now, in my location where my trash is, I keep a deodorizer in there as well. Plus, I use deodorized bags, trash bags. And I had been paying hefty prices for trash bags only to find that I found a great deal on Amazon and got 100 and some odd bags. They are sturdy. They are the nice, heavy kitchen bags that we can purchase either at the grocery or wherever that we may be shopping. And but the good thing is that if you can keep, I try to do it in the evening as soon as dinner is over. I try to gather up that bag, tie it up, and take it. Either I take it out or the big guy takes it out. But sometimes you forget. And that just happened to be one of those days that I did. So if we want our kitchens to smell fresh and clean, then we got to make sure that that trash goes out. So if I don't do it at night, I know immediately when I come into this kitchen that I have to make sure that I take the trash out. That's important. And I walked into someone's kitchen. It's been a while ago, probably a year ago. And bless their hearts, they have a lot of family, a ton of family. There was a kitchen bag that they pulled out of the trash, pulled the plastic bag out of the trash. It was full. There was another bag that was full, and they just hadn't gotten it out to where it needed to go. And so, sometimes that's one of the things that we have to be careful with, because when people are walking into our home, they don't want to see piles of trash bags. You need to get those trash bags taken out. And so that's one of the things that we always want to work with, is to make sure countertops are clear, the sink is clean, the trash receptacle, whether it's one that's built into your cabinetry or it's one that sits on the side, it doesn't matter. Make sure that it's fresh and that it's clean. So that's another thing that we want to take a look at. Now, if you have littles, and everybody knows littles are our children that are coming, that are in the home. You may have young children that are young enough. I know some of you do have children who are young enough who are at home every day. And they're constantly coming in. They're going to touch the counters. They're going to touch everything. And you want your kitchen to be clean, because you don't want them picking up any types of germs or bacteria or whatever it may be, or viruses, because this is a big virus season and we're trying to save ourselves, save our families, and try to stay as healthy as possible. So we want to make sure that we can keep some type of cleaner that is friendly. And I say friendly because I know I have a tendency to have dry hands all the time. And part of that is because of the fact that I'm in and out of water all day. And it has been like that even when I worked outside of the home, because I was a science teacher and I had to keep the place clean. And we were constantly in water all the time. So I had to keep lotion, your care of your, or some rubber gloves to help keep your hands protected. Another thing is that I found that we want to make sure that those areas that we work in often, that they are clean. So let me get to that. If you're like me, I need, when dinner time comes, I am ready to use the countertop. Most of the time, there's some type of chopping, or you're taking something out of the refrigerator that has a possibility of a spill. And that's where we get into our making sure you have some type of cutting board that you can use. And I like this particular cutting board because of the fact that it is easy to keep clean. Not that I don't love the wooden, I love the look of a wooden cutting board. But you have to be very careful with the wooden cutting boards because they can also hold bacteria, and keeping them clean can sometimes be a challenge. You also have to oil them every now and then. And I even stop and sand them, every now and then, just do a light sanding and wipe it off well, oil it down, and start fresh. But these particular cutting boards are such that we can wash them each day, keep them nice and clean, and it's a great way to be able to put paper towel down and on them. So if you're handling meats or whatever it may be, I can bleach it if I need to, depending upon what it is that I'm using it for. Now, let me take a moment and see if we have any comments that need to go. Patricia, I'm with you. I cannot cook in a dirty area. Your dishes need to be washed or in the dishwasher. And I am so glad you brought that up because I'm looking at the things I had down and I skipped right over it. Patricia's right. Dishwashers, when you finish with your nightly cleanup, I usually start my dishwasher. And the reason for that is so that I'm able to unload it in the morning, have a good place to be able to put all the dirty dishes, and because I can't cook in a dirty kitchen. I need the kitchen clean. And I'm sure you all are with me. We want a clean place to work. And Patricia, you got it. That is exactly right. And so the cutting boards, if you have a really good cutting board, that helps to keep your counter clean. And so when I have the size that you see right here in this particular, I'm trying to get my hand in the right place. This particular picture, I have a smaller size if I need to use a smaller section. And let me say that I actually have more than one so that I have the flexibility. This one happens to be right by the stove because sometimes we're working over in the stove area. And so if that's the case, then we want to have a cutting board there. And the reason I keep a cutting board there is not so much that I will actually cut in that location, but this is there so if I need to sit things there, something spills there, it's kind of a waiting area, but guess where it's not? It's not on my countertop. So I can be very careful with that as we go. So that's always a good place. Now, while we're talking about dishwashers and where things are, I want you to look here. Whoop. Now, knives. We all use them. We use them in our cooking. We use them all the time. And sometimes, and I've been guilty of this, I'll be in a hurry, I'll toss it into the sink, and sometimes I get it back into the knife holder, and sometimes I don't. But most of the time, we need a place for those knives to go. I want a place where it can go. So I have a knife holder, and you can even buy the blocks, I believe, by themselves so that you can put your knives in. And say, for instance, you might have a knife that gets old and you've sharpened it all that you can sharpen it, or you need to freshen it. And I want you to pay attention, because this particular picture, you're going to see this knife holder did not start out with these particular steak knives. My steak knives that I had initially for this particular holder were black, just like the other knives that you see at the top. But after a while, they got old and they just didn't look good, and they weren't knives that I could use all the time. So because of that, I bought a new set. Unfortunately, at that point, I couldn't find a black one, and of just the steak knives. So this was a set I had, and I just added it in. And because it's a wooden block, it just kind of blends in. But these are two different sets of knives. Now, the scissors that came with this set had black handles, but something happened along the way, because this block has been sitting here for years. And so I had to add new kitchen shears. So these kitchen shears are by KitchenAid. And at the time that I went to Target, all they had were the red handle ones. And so, and I'm okay with that, because I like a little red in the kitchen. So anyway, so that's where they go. They go right there in the slot for the kitchen shears. So that's a good place to be able to put the things that you're using. Now, sponges and dishcloths. I love my dishcloths, but we all know that unless we're changing our dishcloths often, sometimes our dishcloths may not smell as fresh as they should. And that's something to keep in mind. So change your dishcloths daily. Get dishcloths that you can pick up at the end of the evening, toss them into the wash. So kind of make them neutral, a very neutral color, neutral substance. I like cotton. It's easy, dries quickly, those kind of things. So dishcloths are things we need to freshen up, and we need to make sure that we change out each day. Now, Madeline says, I'm so glad you brought up the cutting board. She says she has an itty bitty cutting board that is a struggle every time she uses it. She says, so she's ordering one today. I do too. I have various sizes, and I do have a little itty bitty cutting board, what I consider itty bitty. It's a little bitty thing that I thought I could do just quick cuts on. But you know what? Once you start to cut, then you need more space, and things fall off the side, and you start to look at it and go, I needed more room. And so, our cutting boards is something that, in going back to cutting boards, but our cutting boards are important to our kitchen. And now, to be honest with you, some of my cutting boards, I have a glass cutting board, and I like it, but it is damaging to your knives. You have to be careful with that. So I use it predominantly when I'm putting things out on the counter that I'm going to serve, and I want to be able to put down a glass cover for the counter, because some things that we serve can stain your counter. So we want to make sure that we're using materials that we can clean and keep clean and use it safely. So definitely that's something you want to do. Now, I've got a stack of stuff over here that I'm going to show you that I think you will enjoy taking a look at. But before I do that, let's see. Ronnie says she keeps a bucket of water with OxyClean in her kitchen, and she tosses the dish towels in it and then washes them all at once with her towels. Great idea, Ronnie. That is a great idea. And I've got OxyClean too. Um, Tamaral is saying that that's a good idea to her too. Those buckets are always a good thing. And I actually have a little bucket that's actually in the laundry room that I have enough water in there that I can just keep throwing them in. And I do like OxyClean, and I've kind of started using more OxyClean sometimes than bleach because it's not quite as harmful to the skin. And plus, I can throw those items, once they're wrung out well, I can throw them in with my towels and it won't affect the other towels. Now, another thing to keep in mind, and these are some things that will come into play. I have been searching, I'm always searching for and trying out new sponges. I don't know how many of you use sponges. Now, this particular sponge that I'm showing you, this is one of those from the Grove Collaborative, and it's the walnut scrubber, and it has a walnut scrubber and the cellulose scrubber. And these are great because they tend not to hold as much odor, because sometimes when things get wet, they will start to just smell a little yucky. Now, I have a secret for these. Now, I'm going to pull out the scissors right here. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to do it right here with you. But this is what I do. Any sponge that I get, I take the sponge and I get a pair of scissors and I cut it in half. One sponge, twice the wear, and it's still functional. And then take these, I have a little jar here, and I stuff my sponge that I'm not using at the time into the jar, seal them up, and I keep them here. So all of these are little half sponges that you see. Now, the nice thing about doing that is that you can use it, and if you're using it on something that is very, very yucky, some pans and pots that we have to clean, it just leaves our sponge yucky. And no matter how much you clean, no matter how much you soak it, it never comes back to looking as nice as what it does the day that you first started using it. And so you won't feel bad about the fact that you can toss it into the trash and you have the other half to be able to use. So I do that. Now, this is your typical little sponge that you see. I even think they have these at the Dollar Tree. Let me say this, I'm not being ugly, but the ones at the Dollar Tree, I don't like the sponge. I don't like this part of it. I like this portion of it, and you can buy a pack of these at the Dollar Tree. But even at that, they're not as sturdy as the ones that you get when they're on your sponge. And so, watch, here we go. Give it a clip, one stays and one goes. So dividing them in two allows you to stretch your usage of sponge and keep it available. Anybody have one of these guys? Good old Scrub Daddy. I think they're so cute. But you know what? It does a fantastic job of cleaning your pots and pans. But let me tell you what it's not friendly to is your skin. Because what I find is that the Scrub Daddy is perfect for those pots and pans, but it's hard on my hands. And so for that reason, and even the Scrub Mommy is nice. I thought I had one right here, but I don't. But the Scrub Mommy has the little scrubber side that's like this. And then on the other side, it's soft. And so you can kind of hold it on the soft side if you need to do a scrub, a real heavy scrub with these. And I like them. I keep it, but when I use this, I need a glove. I have to have a glove because I'll end up with by the end of the night, I end up with sore spots and little places, and it's hard on a manicure. So let's just be honest. They're nice. They're really great for cleaning, but they're hard on the skin. This is my newest sponge that I got. And yes, I'm forever looking for that perfect sponge. And I have found, because I can get these so reasonable. Now, I purposely got it in white because I didn't want it to be so obvious. You know what I'm going to do? First thing, cut it in half. Now, what this has, it does have a scrubber side, but I can use this on any type of dish, and it doesn't scratch it, doesn't mar the surface whatsoever. I can use it on my countertops. It does not mar the surface, and it also has a soft side and a scrubby side. But I like this one because it's white. It's white. And you know, sometimes you get these, and if you put it out on your counter, they stand out like a flag, going, woohoo, here's the scrubby. I'm the scrubber over here. Everybody come and look. This just kind of blends in to your counter. It's a nice color. Now, all of these things I have put down in the description box because I want you to go and take a look and to decide on which one you like. Now, this came as a set. I got close to 12 of these. 12 of my little scrubbers. So needless to say, as I need one, he'll get cut in half. Half goes in the jar, the other half stays out. So these should really be very friendly and useful for a very long time. Now, in thinking about our kitchen and in thinking about keeping it safe, I also thought about, see if you can see it, our fire extinguishers. Now, this is an aerosol fire extinguisher. It is good with wood, plastic, paper, grease, oil, or gasoline. Any fires with any of those, you just literally point and spray. And you know what? It goes right under your counter, and it's easy to get to. And in fact, you can find them sometimes in sets of 2. And a fire extinguisher is something that all of us need to have. If you cook in your kitchen and you're at that stove, you know how quickly little drips get on the side of pans, and sometimes they will start to flame. And if they do, you have a fire extinguisher that you can grab quickly and use it to put that fire out. And so this is something I think everyone needs, is a fire extinguisher. And you know, those big ones, we used to have the larger ones that you had to do, had the handle, all that. And they're nice and they work, but aerosol, gone. Fire, done. And if it's in your oven, wherever it is, done. So we want to keep that area down. Now, let's see. Oh, Madeline said that was a great idea on cutting sponges in half. She also puts her sponges in the dishwasher. I do too. I thought I was the only. My daughter told me, Mom, throw it away. Who puts their sponges in the dishwasher? I do. It saves money and it helps to sanitize them. You're right. In between the times when you need to just throw them out. And actually, I think putting them in the dishwasher and sanitizing them actually extends the life of that sponge. And we spend our money for the things that we need, but sometimes we can save a little money and in such an easy way. So cut those sponges and use your dishwasher for your sanitizing. Great idea, Madeline. Let's see, Tam. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Oop. Okay. Oh, Tam saying she says she loves that dishwasher idea. She needs to be writing all these tips down. Well, for those of you who receive the newsletter, you're going to be getting all these tips anyway, because I did put them in the newsletter. So you'll have them and you won't have to write them down. All right. Something else that we probably have, but everybody doesn't, and I think it's very valuable to have: rugs. Now, not rugs that slip and slide all over your kitchen. Those are not the ones you want. You want a rugs that are in your kitchen that have a kind of rubbery back that helps to grip to your floor. I like putting my rug inside or in front of my refrigerator. That's one place. Actually, I have 3 places that I like them. And the reason for that is that if any of you have those refrigerators that have the water dispensers, ice dispensers, they're all wonderful tools. But you end up, I know, every time I use my ice dispenser, at least one ice cube makes it to the floor. And most of the time I pick them up. But sometimes we forget, or if the kids are using it, they forget, and the ice melts on the floor. Well, let's put a rug there so that the rug can soak up whatever it is and take care of that. Now, another place where you like to have your rug is to have it in front of the sink. I am notorious for getting water on the floor in front of the sink. And in order to be able to extend the floor and the flooring, and especially if you have hardwood or tile, you don't want to slip and slide on any type of water that may be on your floor. So a rug helps to take care of that. Now, I don't know where my picture is for the stove. I also put a rug in front of my stove. And the reason for that is that we have splashes. And if we're cooking, sometimes things, pop and splash. And if that's the case, you want that rug to pick it up rather than your floor, because that's all you need is to come through in a pair of shoes or your house shoes or whatever it is, shoe that you may have on, and slip. And This way, you can make sure that that's not a possibility. Um, Michelle, you are so funny. Michelle says that she keeps a notebook handy for myself and Denise's videos. Oh, that's great. I'm glad you're enjoying the newsletter. And I've added a few extras so for the new year, so new added items that are going to be coming. Deb said she says she misses having rugs. Okay, okay. She said, but they are a fall hazard for her husband. And so, if you know that, then there are options. You have to just be careful as you um, put things into the kitchen. You have to consider everyone. And I haven't tried, Deb, just to um, I know some rugs, tend to, if you drag your feet, and sometimes when I'm tired, I have a tendency to drag my feet. And when that happens, or if you have on tennis shoes, sometimes they'll catch that rug. And so that's another reason why they even have little tabs that you can put around your rugs to kind of keep them in place. So for those of us who have issue, have some type of issue where you can't use a rug, then you'll just wet mop. Do a quick wet mop, keep it clean, and keep it rolling. And but I do like a rug. I have used those fatigue mats. You've seen them, they're kind of thick and they are heavy. They lock down to your floor. And I like those. And in fact, I can put a mop over it to just wipe it off if it gets dirty. And but I like the decorative ones as well. So that gives us some options along the way of being able to do that. So let's see. Um, how many of you have meat thermometers? Tell me in the description box. How many of you have meat thermometers? That's one of the things in our kitchen that we need is a meat thermometer. And the reason for that is because we need to know. We don't want to cook our food to such a point that we dry it out and then it's difficult to chew because that happens sometimes, especially with um, pork. I'll say pork in particular. You may not be a pork person, or even with chicken. You want to be able to use a meat thermometer to make sure that your chicken or your pork is nice and cooked. And those nice instant read thermometers are wonderful, wonderful. So a meat thermometer is something you definitely want in your kitchen. And Tally's saying that that's something she's never used, is a meat thermometer. Well, let me tell you, a meat thermometer, I use my meat thermometer for all kinds of things. You can use it when you're baking bread, just to see what the internal temperature of your bread is. You can use it for cakes to make sure that your cake is clean on, is done and ready on the inside. There are so many uses for that meat thermometer. So we're going to be looking at meat thermometers along the way. Deb said she got it was a wedding gift and she's still using it 48 years later. Woohoo! First of all, woohoo to still using it and woohoo to that 48 years. All right, Deb. Meat thermometers are definitely something that we want to have in our kitchen. And it is just so valuable. And you will find if you have one, you will start to use it for all kinds of things, not just for your meat. Let's see. Yes, it does. Meat the I mean, really, it's your turkey. Oh my goodness. Trust the meat thermometer. Don't trust the little pop up things that come along the way. Jan says that she uses an instant read thermometer. She said it's great for making sure that things are cooked properly. Absolutely. And you can use it for candy, all kinds of things. I love it. Ronnie said that, let's see if I can get that out. Whoops. Okay. Ronnie says that she has a meat thermometer. Good, good, good. And you want a nice one, and they have certainly improved over the years. I know the first one I had, um, it eventually just kind of looked yucky. And so I got a new one. And so, all right. So, uh, Deb, you're going to have to share with the group what brand of thermometer you had that lasted 48 years, because I have to tell you, mine didn't last 48 years. I had one early on, but it didn't last 48 years. I have a new one that I'm using, and it's digital. So I know the one I had initially, you had to read the little screen and the scale to look at, and I used it. The big guy used it. Everybody used it. Whomever was in the kitchen, and we'd grab it and use it. The kids used it, whatever it was, but definitely a meat thermometer is something you definitely want, because you want to make sure that whatever it is that you're serving your family, that it is prepared properly. Now, our winning kitchen. Our winning kitchen. We want to be winners in the kitchen as home cooks. Not only do we want to have a variety of items and recipes and meals that we're preparing throughout the month, but we also want to make sure that this kitchen makes us happy. Now, you're thinking, well, I don't know if my kitchen makes me happy. Well, home cooks, we are going to get our kitchen in order so that it does make us happy. It makes us feel good to walk into our kitchen because it's clean. We know it's clean because it smells fresh. And one other thing, when we talk about smelling fresh, let me grab it right here. I keep a candle going. And the reason for that is for several reasons. I started burning a candle every day. And that was back, if you all remember back that far, back during COVID. This was where I had my meditation. I lit my candle and prayed over the fact that we wanted to have a safe environment for everyone, and that we wanted, of course, those people who were working, the nurses, the doctors, all those people who were in hospitals and clinics who were trying to keep people well and alive back at that time. My candle was burned at that time to aid. Prayer is powerful. And so I kept burning the candle because it permeates your house, and it just makes your house feel special. Now, when you're looking for that candle, you want to find something that is refreshing to you, that makes you feel good. There's something about fragrances. Now, some of us are a little sensitive to fragrances. I know there's certain fragrances that I can't use. And I went over to Bath and Body Works. And I usually go, I don't order them online. I have to go in the store and actually stand there and try out the various fragrances. Those that I can't handle, I know immediately, as soon as it crosses my nose, I know whether or not that's a fragrance that I can be happy with daily. And I keep them going. And I found that I can burn this candle. This is, I got it on Amazon, but I can burn this or the village candle or the most populars. But anyway, they're large jars of candle. You can light those every day, put them in a safe place, and they will last a month. Now, I have a candle warmer that I'm going to show you. It's coming. It's coming. But I'm going to show that to you and to show you where you don't have to light your candle. And you may have them, where you can sit your jar, your large jar, on the candle warmer, and it will melt the wax and allow the fragrance to permeate your home. And so no problems with flames, because if you have children, flames are an issue. Even when you put them up high, you still do not want a flame burning in your home. So that's just something to keep in mind, just to say stay safe. Taylor is the brand. I see Deb, here it is. Deb said her 48-year-old thermometer, that Taylor is the brand. So we'll have to type that in and see if we can find where it is. If I find it, I'll stick it in the description box as well. But that's a brand that you can certainly go out there and give them a hoo-hoo, because how many thermometers last 48 years? Not many. And I don't know of how, of a lot of things that are in the kitchen that make it for, 48 years. They don't make it. They get worn and they start to look bad or whatever. So I am impressed with the fact that this particular thermometer, and I'm going to be looking for it, because not that I think I'm going to be here another 48 years, but I want to be able to get a good thermometer that I know is going to last. Hello, hello. We've got Florence in the house. Hello there. Good to see you. Good to see you. Now, so we have talked about ways and tips for our kitchen, our New Year's kitchen, because you know what, girls, I worked. My kitchen had all the Christmassy stuff in. And so when I came back home, I looked at the kitchen and went, oh my gosh, I've got to get this kitchen cleaned up for the new year. I only had 2 days. So man, I was working like crazy for 2 days trying to get the kitchen clean. The only thing I really left out were the poinsettias, because they're still nice. And I wanted to be able to keep that little touch of holiday here. And because it's my favorite season, and I just like looking at the reds, and I think part of it is because that's my color, but I just like that little added touch. It just gives you a little special feel, or does me anyway. Now, ladies, gentlemen, what does that say? Oh, thank you, Ronnie. You are I really appreciate that for your remembering, because I didn't remember didn't remember to say it. But certainly, I am thankful to all of you, and I am just thrilled. Guys, I can tell you now, I was so excited with emails, with cards, with warm wishes and New Year's wishes and Christmas wishes that I received from you. And it just made me feel so special. And every time I opened one, I got received cards, and I was really excited. It really made me very special that you would take the time to send cards, to send emails, to send messages. I loved it. I loved it. And it certainly encouraged my heart. And those are the kind of things that I think keep us going. And it brings us closer together. And I am very thankful for that. Now, this week, we're going to, you're going to see some of these tips are going to be popping up. And both here on YouTube as well as on Instagram, you're going to see tips that are going to be coming through. And you're also going to see that we're going to be in the kitchen on Saturday. Back to our Saturday morning. I'm so excited. And I've got something planned new that we're going to be working on Saturday. And I am thrilled. I have just been pumped up. You know, sometimes you just need to kind of step away, take a breather. That's for all of us. Take a breather and then come back. And what that allows to happen, and all of us need this. We need a fresh moment where we can come back in and our minds are fresh, our minds are rested. That's when you are able to come up with great ideas. And so I really, really appreciate all that you have done. Now, Tally, I see that you asked, how do you get the newsletter? Down in the description box, my email is there. And just shoot an email and I will shoot out that newsletter to you immediately. And during the holidays, I did it weekly because we had so much to do. And for the time being, I will keep it every week because there's always something that we need to talk about. But it's going to, you're going to see that I'm going to start adding some things to it. We're also talking about our purposeful, intentional planning that we're working along the way. Our one plan for 1 month, that is coming as well. So there is so much to do this week and so much that I want to share with you this week. So you will be able to jump in on that. Oh, Michelle, you are so sweet. Oh, you know, I can only hope, and I was very humbled. And in fact, I can tell you one time it actually made me cry because, you know, I do the best that I know, and I share those things that I think are helpful for home cooks. And it's so nice to get a card or a note that says, this has helped me. This has really helped me. And some of you who are in the chat box today, you know, I so appreciate what you've sent and what you've said, your sentiments. And it just really keeps us going. And you know, around this lunch table, this is a powerful place. This is a place where we're helping home cooks, number one, to be encouraged, number two, to be inspired, and we just have a good time because it's fun. And that's what your kitchen is all about. It's a fun place. I want you to have a happy, fun kitchen because that's what I like. And I have had so much fun over the holiday being in the fun kitchen, being able to, I can tell you this, I stepped into my daughter's kitchen for Christmas. Oh, 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 it was so much fun. I had so much, she had no idea of how excited I was to walk into her kitchen. And you know what, guys, if you have daughters that are old enough to have their kitchens and their families, and you see bits of yourself right there in the kitchen, it makes you feel so good. And it's a blessing to all of us. So I hope that you are practicing, because that's what it's all about. We practice every day to try things wonderful for our family, because we're building strong families. And if we build a strong family, we're going to then build a strong community. And each community is going to be able to extend beyond those doors as well. So have a wonderful time. Patricia said, yes, Patricia, I did. I did. Oh, that is so sweet to me. Sweet. I have been so blessed by the cards and notes and all of those things. They really did. They made me smile and made my heart happy. So I certainly appreciate all that you've done. Guys, guess what? We got to go back to work. Our lunchtime is over. Our time is here for today. But next Monday, we're going to be right here, ready to go. And we're going to get those kitchens going. So, big hugs, big hugs. Happy New Year. Have a blessed and wonderful New Year. And I know that every day is going to be a good one. And if you get up with that thought, today is going to be a great day. It will be, because you've already said it and you've put it out in the atmosphere. So people are going to pick up on your positivity, and from there, it's going to flow out. So have a wonderful, wonderful week, my friends. And I'm looking forward to seeing you right here in the kitchen of Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme. Mwah! See you soon.